Alrighty, everyone. Oh, boy. Oh, what's going on, Valen, Parmless, and Kavanica, or Kavushka? Kavushka? Are you a babushka? Wait, no. Babushka's old woman, isn't it? Old lady? Old grandmother? Something like that. I think you're a babushka. So funny thing is, I got to the part in Breath of Fire 3 that I find annoying, because you have to follow directions and make a dish. You get graded for it. Did it first try and got the best item. Well, that's good. Oh, man. I kind of wanted to play more Breath of Fire 3. But at the same time, I kind of want to nap. But I don't nap, I sleeps. That's the downside of being me. I can't take naps. If I try and lay down for a nap, it's going to be like, oh, I'll just take a 30-minute nap, and it's like 2 hours later, and I was like, oh, this was a poor decision. So I don't really take naps. In many cases, I can't in general, because I'll just sleep till the next day. Or worse, I won't be able to sleep at all, and I'll just lay there. The joys of my brain keeping me awake at all times. Yeah. But how is everybody doing? It's Thursday. Today we're talking about how Kavushka has a strange obsession with sourdough bread. The things that they have done. The things that they have done. That bread will never be the same ever again. But no. Let's see. Where is my game? Where is it? This is true. I do love sourdough bread. I mean, a good sourdough is like... No, I need to stop that first. A good sourdough is always appreciated. Girlfriend was actually talking about getting back into bread making. Because she did make breads for a while. I don't remember the type of bread that she made. I remember her making a particular bread for me one time, and I was like, oh, this is actually rather good. I just stood there taking a bite out of the whole fucking loaf. The thing is, it wasn't even like a cake bread, like banana bread or anything. It was just bread. So that way you know there's something wrong with me. Oh. I got a very nice amount of good news at work in regards to various things, which is kind of like a good day. But I'm still worn out, and I still want the weekend. I want it now. But before we can start, as always, I need to remove those cards first. We need to draw a card from the Shakespearean deck of insults. What shall be our first card? 5 of Diamonds. Praised be thy gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. As You Like It. Or Touchstone from As You Like It. Wow. That's perhaps I could change to go to sleep. What?
There is no time to point of view. We have to try this together. Okay? No, just keep going. We can't compose.
Wait, did we already do this one?
Dear, heartening, we can't stop here any further. They are coming now. There is not any time.
So what? Don't just choose them to die ever. Is that it?
Please not. We'll let a trace to be false.
God never has the knowledge.
This is weird.
So what?
I want to know. I want to not normal.
So I have put together that every time there's those kind of scenes where he's floating, that's him in utero. In his mama. Oh, 'tis pissing rain. I have something I need to do. Take me to the spot across the lake where I bathe. You're going to help me find something. I got an achievement? Intellectuals groan at night? Why does it sound like someone left a shower going? It only recorded like 2 seconds of audio and then looped it. It's a fairy. I don't want to deal with you. I don't have to deal with you. I have no idea where the fuck I'm going. Go away, fairy. Left dense forest near large lake, right home where the heart is. For if thou I get lost on thy way back from the forest. Yea, thee art smart, sirrah, thou know thy way. Guess we go where the heart is. How far right do we go? Stupid flying fairy fuckers. I don't know if this is one of these, maybe? I do remember that being a problem with the underground... Ah, there we go. The underground maze is that there was no indication on some spots as to whether or not it was, like, actually an entrance or an exit. And thou art thy son, Voltaire. That cannot be. Voltaire died in the forest. He drowned in the river. You might not be a witch. A witch, I say to thou. I'm not a witch, sir. Aaron, dear. Hurry, strike a fire. Enough of thy brains with games. Would I a witch, would I know that Everett actually had pushed me in the river that day, even though he knew I could not swim? Hogwash. There is not the sort. He is not yet a sweet, kind sirrah. I shall not accept some stranger claiming that he is my son to slander his name. Thou deserve naught from me. I am glad I left thou all when I got the chance. Do not wish to go up there, not now. Who art thou? What is thy purpose in our house? I am thy stepson, Voltaire. Skimble, scamble stuff. Voltaire died when he was 8 years corky. Dear, I'm going to warn Everett of this strange man. Where is he now? He is west of our house chopping wood to help the fire for dinner. I might not but send a pigeon. Thou people are bootless. Bootless? Booted? They can't be bootless. They had shoes on. Books. Mostly romance genre. Mostly romance genre. Just a closet. So I guess back this way to the dense forest. But yeah, I forgot to mention it. There's no indication that that's the proper way. Or at least it's not clear. It's like, oh, I could go to this one. Nope, that's not right either. To the top one. Nope, that's not right. Should probably put, like, I don't know, a change in the wall. Something. Be gone, you fairy bastard. I'm being kind, but not murdering all of your kind. Got a message. One second. Okay, not a super important one. Do thou know who I am, brother? Voltaire? Possible. Thou drowned in the river. Sometimes plans fail in the end, Everett. No matter. After all this time, thou still try to join back to me. Now, thou undone my life. From the instant I first noted of thy existence, thou undone my life. Thou killed my mother. Ne'er even got to know her. All because thou just befell to join hither and wrack alls for me. From the instant I first noted thy existence, I knew something was amiss.
Who left the shower on fully blast?
I don't know, but yeah, it does. It sounds like someone's like running a drain, a very loud drain. So yeah, I get that. Knew something was amiss. Every painting I had seen of my mother, I knew that she never had eyes or hair like thou, nor didst the relatives of her or mine father. Something was not right, and yet thou stayed anyway, till I had to try what was right. Thou were a hold but for a foreign parasite, a parasite that needed to be expelled a long, long time since. Going to finish what I started, if it's the last thing I doth. Ah. Is that a wooden sword he's threatening us with? Oh, the music is different for this one. His eyes are filled with pain. That never craved to fight me. That just makes it easier for you to try what I want to try. Well, wasn't that nice? However, here's you're missing a few things. Normally, how you purposely make these stupid casualties. How about you go back, make a new save, do a new route? They're meant to be done. Aha! No! Fuck you! I'm gonna hit. See, if I save it right there, refresh it right there, then it shouldn't reset my save. Maybe. We'll find out. Ha! Sorry I stepped away from my PC. What I miss? I made some sick kick-ass dessert peanut butter bars. Oh, that does sound cool. So, as far as, I gotta wait for that butterfly to appear. No, we do need to go. We need to go somewhere else because it annoys you. What if I'm stuck into this spot now for this particular playthrough? Away with thee. Now, craven bastards. So, as far as what you missed, someone left the shower running on full blast, as Parmless put. Apparently, Phantom Scott decided that we needed to go see Voltaire. Well, go see his brother, or rather, the corporeal form of Voltaire's brother. And, yeah. I didn't want to kill him. Apparently that gets you a game over because it ends that route. I said no, and so I reset it. I wonder. Oh, I did still get the achievement, though. I got Intellectuals Grown at night only from mental strife. Don't buy a single prostitute. And then also got You Had One Job, complete normal route. So yeah, I think I am. Not a game over. It's not a game over if it gives you an ending. It's still technically a game over. Because the game was over. What if I just go straight this way? Drive the river, stuff like that. So pretty much, his brother hated him because for him being born, for Phantom Scott being born into this world, it killed their mother. Let's see. I think I am locked into this particular ending for this route. Which, the choice then is, do I kill Everett or let him kill me? Yeah, because this is back where I was. Alright, well, let's go talk to our parents. Also, why do I have to wait for that ferry to go by in order for me to move? That makes no sense. I'm on the normal route, silly goose. Look, first off, I did many things that pissed off Phantom Scott. I feel like that's a win. I made him not have fun for a long period of time. That means it's a win. Gotta get his happiness back up, otherwise he'll just mess things up, because he is nothing more than a dick. Her name is Bernadette, and she's showing you where to go. Well, the only Bernadette that I know was on the TV show The Big Bang Theory, that I didn't really watch that much of, but I did see clips of. But yeah, that's the only Bernadette I know. The T-posing fairy needs to be perished. You're T-posing on this. Alright. Bootless people. Now, I guess we'll kill him so that way we can make Phantom Scott a little happy that we killed at least one person he wanted to kill. Should really mark the mazes, though. Alright. Yes. Big-headed twink is angry at us for death of mother, blah, blah, blah. Alright. So first off, you look shabby. Your face is stupid. You're using a wooden sword, so you really are trying really hard to kill us, and we're just kind of letting you. And your hair's stupid. So have at you, Everett. Filled with pain. Guard. Ow. Thou killed her, and I never even got to know her. I never got to know her because of thou and thy stupid existence. Well, that sounds very nice. I know I had a brother, a real brother, not some cuckoo like thou. Yet thou took him away from me. Thou took all away from me, thou base parasite. Myself should hast made sure I killed thou when I had the chance. Now shall hast to finish the job. Even would I die ere thou. Die ere thou? Well, you guys are subliterate. The music kind of sounds like it's playing reverse of something. Which definitely adds to the creep factor. Missed. Damn it, Phantom Scott. Can't hit shit. But I die ere thou. At least I died for the sake of my mother. I do agree with the fact that Nor probably would have been better off if Phantom Scott was a better god over it. And not pretty much a dick with a superiority complex. Can't wait to see what you do when you start adding more of the backgrounds and other parts that you were talking about, because combat is still rather straightforward. The rhythm timing thing's good because it's interesting, it keeps you engaged, but does get old after a while because there is no variation. I mean, out of all the things I killed and so on, you'd think I'd get like another ability. Wait, no, that's... yeah. Yeah. health does this big-headed twink have? Ah, there we go. Nothing but 7s for experience. Still just got the you had one job achievement. Well, wasn't that nice? However, appears that you're missing a few things. You annoy me with how you purposely make these stupid casualties. How about you go back, make a new save, do a new route, do things the way they were meant to be done? How about new? Do it now, you pathetic piece of filth. Closed out my game. That's rude. So, that's 2 routes done. And there's 6 routes in total. But, Oh, hey, my saves didn't delete. Yay! Or did my saves not delete because I didn't hit start a new route yet? Or maybe they're supposed to delete, but Kavushka forgot something, and it's not deleting them. Let's see. I don't think there's anything I can change or do differently in regards to the actual current playthrough. Because, as you mentioned, it's the normal route. I pretty much got trapped into the normal route from the very moment that I decided not to follow, or not go with Ace of Nor, but that I did follow them to essentially, see what the hell that they're going on about. I do feel like that route is kind of lackluster. Or rather, the end of the route is rather lackluster. And I do kind of feel like that about each of the routes. So, since this route ended a lot sooner than anticipated, for me, at least, because it would have ended last stream, but, Kavushka decided to break things. Thanks, Kev. Gotta break things. Where is it? So I did already write a good amount of the review for this game. So I guess, how to put it? So Crimson Snow Deluxe, a game that goes too wordy with words. There is a lot that I can say about this game in both good and bad categories. The combat is very simplistic for the build that I have played, and from my understanding the game is still getting overhauls in regards to a lot of features. Still, it is easy to see how much this game has been inspired by games like Undertale and Deltarune. My experience for this particular review of mine is based upon getting 2 endings of the game so far. Unfortunately, it's hard to weigh this due to some parts counting as both pros and cons for this game. For instance, the story itself, it is a pro in the sense that it is unique, in that there are multiple paths and endings that you can get for your playthrough, making each playthrough possibly unique. It is a con in the sense that sometimes the endings feel a little lackluster, or essentially feels like a first or second draft of a story versus a completed story. And the saves getting deleted at your end of your playthrough is kind of annoying, honestly. Again, I don't know if that was something that's been changed at this point, or if that is just something that's not happening with this for some reason. There are times where certain paths are not clear as well, or where it feels like you have achieved an ending but Phantom Scott did not approve of it, so he deleted your save and made you start over. Or where player agency was taken away due to Phantom Scott. There are times, for the sake of plot, that player agency should be or can be taken away, but you have to be careful when it is done and how you frame it, because it is very important that it is framed properly to your audience and to your player. Otherwise, it can feel like a bit of a betrayal to the player, or even leave a bad taste in their mouth due to the experience. Good example are other games where, you beat the crap out of the boss and you still, lose wholehandedly in the cutscene right after the boss fight to the boss that you just beat. It's kind of a dick move. Give me my win. Don't take it from me like that. And then there's the section of save deletion. For a narratively driven game with multiple endings, by the way, it is rather hardcore to have save deletions, and can turn many players away. Not saying there are not games similar, or with a similar feature or the same feature, just simply that if a game is a very dialogue and story-driven game, it's not a roguelike, then it can make players unhappy to know that, oh hey, suddenly I have to start over and I've got no benefits between the two saves. Especially if a particular choice gets them in an unexpected ending, and now they have to start over from the very beginning. Sometimes we like going back to a previous save, and if a choice would have made a difference without going through the whole game again. The next point I have is that the map is unfortunately a bit of a struggle at times, where this game could definitely use a fresh new coat of paint versus the RTP that's being used, as in some parts it clashes with the hand-drawn aesthetic of the characters. Lots of small rooms as well, but very few with anything of actual note or use in them. And due to the sizing of the maps and how easy it is to transition from one kingdom to another, it's hard to believe it's a full world. There's also the issue with the suspension of disbelief, where you as the player are able to set aside small details to fully enjoy the story, and when that becomes difficult, it starts taking away too much from the story and too much from the game. It's the same with movies or books. But purely due to a few narrative choices, and they tend to stack up very quickly, one of the big ones that sticks out is honestly Forline, the kingdom you start in. It has all the food, combined with the low population of each kingdom where they barely get, 100, 110 between all of them. It makes it difficult to believe that there are even kingdoms left. Or why hasn't everyone simply moved to Forline, as that is where the food is? In fact, I want to say in Lila and Inca and Ice Drift, they all mention that they get their food by trading with Forline because they either cannot grow their own food, or they just never grew it to begin with from the looks of it. The interactions between the player and Phantom Scott, including the pets section, does not honestly feel satisfying at all. Especially since you do not get any kind of notification that his happiness or hunger has gotten too low. And then he will kind of just fuck with the game by fast-forwarding time because his hunger and or happiness got too low. There is also the added thought that he just may straight up disobey in combat because those got too low, which is also a drawback. And for my time playing, I honestly did not see a benefit to this entire section or feature at all. Apologies, I need my water. Hydration's important. There we go. So, with that out of the way, I have to address the elephant in the room. The game is meant to be set in a medieval Renaissance-like era of the 1530s. As mentioned, the game is very dialogue-heavy, and unfortunately the dialogue is going to turn a lot of players away almost immediately. The reason being that it is a strange form of Shakespearean wording. Not just the use of doth, thous, and such, but even pulling many words that would be archaic even to the time of Shakespeare. You have a much larger gap between now and then than you did have when perhaps we were children. I read a lot of Shakespeare in elementary school, so that was 30 years ago. But it goes without saying that that the use of archaic words in modern times does not always work, because not many people would know the exact translation of the word, may struggle with the word entirely, and when you make paragraphs of these words one after another, it can be taxing. No one wants to have to translate the game themselves while trying to play and enjoy the game. For example, rampant use of the words what, not, and ought right next to each other in the same sentence and breath. Where what, W-O-T, means to know, have knowledge, or have knowledge of, depending on the usage. The word ought, A-U-G-H-T, meaning anything or any part of, such as I do not know aught of this. The word he, H-I-E, meaning to hurry, to hasten, or to go quickly, once again based upon context. These, among many others, are thrown at you often with as many other nouns and pronouns that makes it hard to distinguish them at times. I feel I only did as well as I did during my streams of the game due to my background and love for Shakespeare, but even then, as it is mentioned in a very easily missed book entry, there are some words that do not mean the same compared to ones that we would know if we are familiar with the language of the time period. However, your average person would likely get lost and possibly uninstall due to not understanding the plot or what was being said. Well, there's you do actually get an alert for hunger, actually. It's an alert that flashes in the middle of the screen for a little bit if the hunger is low. I don't recall ever seeing that, and it got pretty low, like almost close to empty. And there was one time that it got kind of low, and he just fast-forwarded time without it being fully empty. So I'll have to go back and scrub through the footage to double-check on that. Right, here we are. The biggest point against this game is honestly the language. It would be fine if one or two of the NPCs spoke this way, as they could just be labeled as weird, or from a culture where that is more normal. However, it is every dialogue in the game. Even the written dialogue, such as in books and scrolls and so on, has the droppings of letters where it is written like it is being spoken and not like it is properly written. All of this combined acts like a gate that keeps out potential players simply by the fact of it becoming an accessibility issue. Mixing verbiage, languages, and even the use of archaic words is fine when used properly and sparingly. Sparingly is the key word there. Changing a simple phrase like, Sir, doth thou wot aught at all about Maxwell, to Sir, doth thou know aught of Maxwell, still has a bit of the same old style speaking, but it flows much better when spoken or read, as you are no longer jumping from what to ought, where, and if you're like me, you may end up saying what ought, because of just the flow of the words in general. A good example of using flowery, poetic language sparingly is Final Fantasy XIV's character Urianger, who speaks in this kind of prose and form, but he is, and if memory serves, literally the only person in the entire game who does this. And it is even pointed out as to being just an odd thing that Urianger does. By using this character sparingly, but also in a manner in which that his phrasing and verbiage doesn't distract or slow down the scenes due to it being a simplistic enough to easily understand, Urianger becomes a rather well-liked and unique character. I feel that Crimson Snow Deluxe would benefit greatly if it were to take this kind of approach. That way it's more easily understood for a wider range of audience, while also still appealing to that era or time period of language. All in all, I'll have to be honest, I score this game a 3 out of 5. Attempt once more when thou hast honed thy skills with parchment and quill. So yeah. I would honestly say there is probably more things that I could write down and point out that could use better, I guess, indication. Let me see if I can go to this. Let's go to 3. Yeah, his happiness and his fullness. We're just going to let him sit there for a moment. But, let's see. Where's a good example of what I wanted to show? Go away, you fucking birds. Go away, you fucking birds. Okay, so. This comes to the suspension of disbelief section. We have 4 kingdoms here. The land of Nor. We have Insin, who does not grow their own food. There's nowhere there to grow food. They're in an active volcano. They're not near an active volcano. They are in an active volcano. Shit's not growing there. Never mind the fact that they should technically be all dying because, well, active volcanoes put a lot of bad gas pretty much straight up into your lungs and air. Goes down as you're walking. Ice drift. We are currently there. The closest that they have to vegetation aside from trees is rabbits and birds to eat, because there are fucking endless numbers of them. But at the same time, they even mention how dangerous the rabbits are, to where it's like, yeah, if you're not careful, they're gonna brush up against you and just fucking kill you. So don't let them brush up against you. It's just okay. Then we got Lila. This place should have been deserted just fully after the war. Probably before the war, too. But there's no reason why anyone should be living in Lila. Because none of this is habitable. They have fish. They can fish, which is great for them, I guess. But there is not else going on here. Very little vegetation, very little anything. Even their farm is dying. So, yeah. And even there's an entire quest point about how the fact that they are all starving to death because their king won't trade with Foreline, who has all of the food. Then there's Shadvale. I honestly think they're just asking to die. You know, actually, all 3 of these are just asking to die. By their own stupidity. More than anything else. But Shadvale, it is its own mess. Purely because of the fact that they all live underground. And they're terrified of animals. I didn't even see a mushroom farm in there, I don't think. So that means they're probably trading with Foreline for food as well. Which just raises the question further. Why does everyone just not go to Foreline? It's the one place with large amounts of greenery. And sure, the field is depressing. But you get more people working it, and then it gets bigger. But that being said, again, the suspension of disbelief about each of these different kingdoms comes from the fact that, oh, I can totally see, you know, people living out in the desert, you know, at an oasis where they're able to fish of sorts and, you know, essentially survive off that. Cool. But apparently they're starving because either A, they don't know how to fish, or B, they just don't fish for some reason. I think we did one quest where we got one person, like a kid, 3 fish for them to shut up. That was about it. But the rest of them are dying because they need food, they need grain, wheat, and so on. But the only ones who grow it is 4-line. And the king doesn't want to trade with them because he's sore about losing. Oh, hey Midwest, welcome. Yes, I did finish all the Chinese food. It's all gone. I has no more. Let me think, what else? Alright, gonna have to select it again. And 4-line itself has its own problems. So, never mind the mushrooms. Never mind all this. So here's the cliff. 2 here. 2 here. Here to here. Look how small each corridors are. And this is a bit of a design thing as well. Damn, off to the expressing panda for me. Well, you don't get any express panda. Also, thank you for the follow, Leafanatic Gamer. 4-line has its own problems in the sense that they live in fucking trees, and a passing fart with a spark could, burn this whole place down. They really should not be living in trees like this, especially since some of these... can I go with this one? No. I'm gonna have to find one. Some of them have fucking oil lamps inside of them. Did I see one here? No. I mean, that's a fireplace inside of a tree. That's just asking for problems. You heard of the glass cannon. Now it's time for the ass cannon. Yeah. I don't want to be the one that, lights that cannon. Bad enough. I get pretty gassy. But no. Like, each of these rooms has a fireplace, if I recall correctly. Can't go into them now. Just annoying. But anyways. No, that's the theater. So they all live in trees. They're all having their own fireplaces. They're all essentially one matchstick away from burning the whole place down. Cool. Most of the map, like, from here... Out of my way, mushroom. To here could honestly all be one map. One map ID. This is from a design perspective, because I am going from 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen, 4 screen. But there is not much going on in any of these any of these screens. The only difference between them is that this one allows me to go down. And then this one is up. So you could combine some of the screens, some of these maps, to where they are one whole map. And it would just take a small amount of rearrangement. Even this here. If you turned it all into one map, save, honestly, yourself a lot of eventing. But at the same time, you would have it to where your players aren't constantly moving between that, where the screen fades out, fades back in. They go for a little bit, fades out, fades back in. They go for a little bit, fades out, fades back in. rinse, repeat. And the reason why I also suggest doing it here is because you do this in all of these other ones. Shadvale has larger map areas, but only slightly. Lila has a lot more map area. Because once you're in Lila, it's this one screen, and then 2, and then all of this here. Which honestly, you could combine this whole map with this one. Because there's not diddle shit here. And I'm pretty sure this only exists for when you're doing the genocide run. But this, and this can all be one map. You could even go as far as probably putting this onto the same map. And that would help save a lot of processing space as well for our RPG Maker. Because every time it runs an event, it ticks up the virtual memory. Every time you make an event, it ticks up the virtual memory. Hey, Plexi! Oh boy. So, Lila's map, like all of this, this whole size, can honestly, it feels like it can fit most of 4 Lines map, if not all of it. And then, let's go to these fire-headed twinks that no one likes. 1, 2. Now we're in here. Which, how the hell are you guys walking around when there's fucking monsters around? How are you not been eaten? But anyways. With the size of this map as well, it further proves and shows that 4 Line runs in a very strange corridor setting where you're transitioning between multiple scenes for no reason other than, well, honestly, other than just because. And then Ice Drift. That's the prostitutes no one likes. Ignoring the vile birds everywhere. I'd like to note how far I'm walking in this area before I hit the end or another transition screen. Aside from the fact that the birds, there does appear to be like a higher encounter rate here, which is silly. 4 Line's meant to be solid because it's the first area of the game, so you've seen things get bigger as you move on. That does make sense from a mechanic perspective, but it doesn't make sense from a narrative one. And this is important because, again, the rest of these idiots, and I use idiots because, as I said before, these kingdoms all want to burn themselves down from the way that they act. All of them rely on 4 Line for food. If they don't have food, they're going to die. It's as simple as that. Why are the innocent people living in the mountain inside of an active volcano other than to be spiteful? And I've met some pretty spiteful and petty people. I grew up with them. And I mean people who are the deepest level of petty. But even they wouldn't do that. Lila, as I mentioned early on, I'm surprised that they hadn't killed their king until the point that they did. Because it's like, man, that should have happened a long time ago, probably before this game even started. And yeah, if they don't have food because either they can't fish, don't want to fish, or it's just not enough fish to actually support them, and they need the food from Lila, or I'm sorry, the food from Fourline in order to survive. Fourline has all the bargaining power. Because Fourline at that point doesn't even need to talk to Lila in regards to, like, you know, leadership to leadership, king to king, queen to queen. They don't have to talk about any of that. All they have to do is send over one gift basket of food to hand out to the people there. And essentially blazingly challenging the king to arrest the messenger who sends over the food. So that way it stokes the fires more of like, hey, we sent you guys food, your king took the food away. We're pissed because they punished our guy that we sent over there with the food, but they took your food away. That would have started a riot immediately, because that's what's happened throughout history most of the time. The volcano is inactive. If it were active, the stone keeping it inactive wouldn't be there, and everyone would be dead. No, I'm pretty sure this is active. It's not actively exploding everywhere, but that's active magma. A dormant volcano, all of this would be crusted over. That's active. And again, there ain't no food place here. Unless they're eating the monsters, which I highly doubt, because they all panicked over one monster. Yeah, flaming rhino. It's very weird design. So YPS fought the dragon, keeping the stone to keep the volcano from becoming active. Which again goes into that whole argument of narrative and so on as well. Because, narratively speaking, Phantom Scott wants to destroy the world. So why didn't Phantom Scott stop us from killing the dragon? Or take over and destroy the rock as soon as we got it, to prevent it from keeping the volcano from exploding, because he wants to destroy the world, and the rest of the kingdoms don't want the volcano going, kaboom, because they are afraid that it will kill them. Rightfully so, mind you, but still. It's a narrative thing on that aspect. Oh, his happiness is almost fully out. Let's go back here. Come on. Stupid birds. But is my happiness too low that he won't fucking... Stupid freaking birds. But yeah. Because of the narrative that's been established where everyone trades with Fourline to get food because they can't grow it themselves, either due to poor management, poor leadership, or just poor choice of where they're living. It would kill PS as well if it exploded. What does he care? He's not a corporeal being, or he's only temporarily a corporeal being. He's a god. The fuck does he care? He can leave at any moment. But yeah, and also this goes. This is also a good example of many rooms of nothing. We keep seeing a lot of these buildings and throughout like all the different areas, and they're pretty much always locked. Nothing in them, or we can't go in them ever. Nothing to do in them. Nothing of value to see or interact with. It feels like they are set pieces, but they are empty set pieces. Probably do what needs to be done. I'm trying to drive his. You know what? Let's go to where I know there's no combat. But no. I understand that 4 line's supposed to be small. It's purely just that the setup that has been made for it, there is, narratively speaking, there is no reason why it should be this small. Especially considering that they have the same amount of population as Lila. Actually, I think they have one more than Lila, or Lila has one more than they do. It doesn't matter either way, but still. I would honestly combine so much of this into one singular map, purely because there is no purpose of some pieces other than to show that there's a connection between them. Like this whole scene right here. This section right here. I don't know if it's the Adderall wearing off or the fact that I'm running off of zero sleep. I don't really remember anything happening in this area. I remember looking through it for when I was looking for the unicorn, or the first time that I came through, and I saw Ace of Nor appear. But honestly, this map and this map could be one. Or honestly, most of 4 line, if not all of 4 line, could be one map. If you just lay it out properly, you can get it all into one map. That way each kingdom feels appropriate in size. There's the side. My population rubbed off. People's population may be growing. Ah. Let's do a quick county doodle. 3, 5, 6. There's 7 and 8 in there. Oh, 9 in there. 10, 11. 13, 4, no, I already counted him already. 15, 16, 17. I think there's 19. Yeah, I think there's 19 or 20 in total in 4 line. Go to bed, go to sleep. No, you don't tell me what to do. There is currently only one person who can tell me what to do, and she is not here right now. My wife, my girlfriend. I've not proposed as of yet, but yes, that individual. She can tell me what to do. And she's probably not gonna. So. But yeah, as far as from a design perspective, having the designs match with the narrative is key and important. Purely because of the fact of, hey, if the story says this particular area is more wealthy than another, then it needs to look like it's more wealthy than another. If it's said to be where all of the food or the majority of the food is grown from and the other kingdoms trade with them for the food, then it needs to look like that, both in the area itself but also the interactions and so on. And again, I would honestly make all of them bigger, because if there's not like 100, or I don't even think there's 120 between all 4 kingdoms of, population wise, they could all just fit into 4-line and just live there. You just have to kill off some of the nobles, which I'm sure they'd be perfectly fine with, considering almost everyone in 4-line is a noble, with the exception of, 6 people? I had to pop back in because I didn't know if you slipped up or not. Would have been great if she was around for that. No, she is back at her place. My roommate is not moved out as of yet. That is something he's working on. He is waiting to hear back about one place that he has put an offer on. And if he doesn't hear back by Sunday, he is going to go try and look at another place instead. So yeah. From a narrative, this is, again, the whole suspension of disbelief. Why should I believe that any of these kingdoms can sustain themselves? Because we've had a number of revolutions throughout history over food, to where it's like, oh yeah, we're not getting enough food, and the nobles seem to be partying up pretty well, so we're gonna go off the nobles and take their food. Looking at you, French Revolution. Boy, how did they do it right. Oh, time to draw another card. The next one is the Queen of Diamonds, Gertrude, from Hamlet. How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, you false Danish dogs. I can't remember, was Gertrude the queen? I think she was the queen. It's been too long. But yeah. But as I said, this is more of a suspension of disbelief issue, and how it feels like certain aspects of the story do not match up with what's being portrayed to the player, as well as design changes that you could do in order to pretty much be like, oh yeah, we've got, plenty of space or plenty of things to do. That kind of thing. From a language barrier, again, that is more of an accessibility thing. A lot of people will be turned away by the use of this, the archaic language, and essentially it being all sorts of rapid fire with a lot of pronouns and so on. Or not pronouns, nouns and proper nouns. Well, his happiness is all the way down. He's a sad boy. He's a sad, sad boy. It's going to say to me, I never what would she hath finished unpacking her things, yet I would love to see her. Happily I shall sometime today. It's not the one I'm looking for. It's about, I've just about the piece to mine issue, Astrophel. It's unfortunate that I asked someone whom I shall marry. I'm looking for a particular individual whose words I hate. That became very since marriage. It's about time today without one fresh air today. Many corridors of nothing that I suggest to be fixed. Skin has to. Okay, so. Why is it Ken Hast? At least now Celine can hast a new teacher and someone to befriend while I work. That should be just Hast. Now Celine has the new teacher. and someone to befriend while I work. So very for me. There was a particular. I'm trying to find or trying to remember who said it, but there was one particular individual that I remember. Oh wait, no, I remember now. Right, what's the fullness is still nowhere near being down. His happiness is all the way down. He can be unhappy for all I care. I think it was in Shadvale. Thought it was for a second. Also, I kind of would up the brightness in this area. That's why when I grow up I do like to be a gardener. I love flowers, yet there are hardly any flowers in Shadvale, only like lactosaurs. Hence, Mommy wants me hurry into the mines forever instead. Can you compose horses and jewelry? I'd like to. So, Lilactus is a good example of it, in a sense, if someone's not familiar with that term. God, who was it? It was someone who mentioned Lilactosaur, but I remember reading their dialogue and thinking, God, that's a fucking mouthful. Go away, stupid moth. It's over the efforts. I got money. I'm certain someone in Shedfield goes, oh, this is, yeah. Much corridors about nothing. Ah, you're the dick that no one likes. There's you. No. Also, where? Remember who it was, but I cannot for the life of me. Guess not way too long. Yeah, the murder lesbians. Right, no, that guy's down that way. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Ah, it's a critical state. He will die if not fed. Alright, yeah, that's fine. It was the happiness then. Okay, that's what I was thinking about. You don't get a notification when his happiness is too far down. What thou originate from Lila, where thou came hither? It was like that. Ere the war. 'Twere not much better than we suspect then. Yet I was friend with a woman named Delamere. Spoke a lot about books and other people Lila. Thou what how prate is in Noir spreads apace. Now she works at the castle these days. 'Tis said she sent me a letter. She meets us to life. No, okay. See if we can get Phantom Scout to starve. That'd just be fitting. No one's all around hither to be able to try something to do. No, they're just fussing at each other that they're bored. Shoot, I think it was actually during one of the quests. Unfortunately, I cannot remember it this time, and it's bothering the piss out of me. But, yeah. I would work on better mapping of things in order to try and make it to where the maps feel better used. Where it feels like you have an actual kingdom versus, oh, you know, we just call ourselves a kingdom. A number of RPGs do this well with, like, only a handful of actual, like, important characters that have dialogue, but the rest that you see either have no dialogue or they just say, like, one or two lines repeated because they are more concerned about something. It's adding a bit of lived-inness, or making the game feel like it's lived in. What was the other point? Here's my notes. Yeah, aside from that, those are the pretty much the biggest things, is that there is a lot that feels like it needs to be expanded upon, either in the art aspects because of the clash between the custom graphics and the RTP. I can just click around. Forgot about that. The custom graphics or the RTP, and then combat feels like it could also be improved. No, we're not killing them. Trying to think. God, I am tired and my Adderall's worn off. This is Valen's fault. I don't know how it's Valen's fault, but it is. Critical state. He'll die if he's not fed. Well, that's perfectly fine. That's what we're looking for. Alright, so. Oh, no. Don't want to go. Come on, starve. Yeah, that's kind of like the only advice I have at the moment is try and make the mapping better and not clash as much, which is going to be difficult, I understand, but definitely try and see about fitting more into fewer maps when it comes to the kingdoms, and honestly making 4-Line feel like it's a little bit more of the powerhouse that it technically is, because again, it has all the food, and so people are going to want to flock there because they want to be closer to the food. That's just kind of how things work. And the language barrier, which I know... No. See, this is what I get for using one hand to control things. The language barrier, which comes up purely because, again, there is a lot of use of words that are quite old, and you have to make sure that the sentence that you are giving dialogue to... Ah! How do you get a sword stuck in his head? Not your fault that you have more experience with insomnia? Yes, it is. Yes, you deleted my old save. Try to do things right this time. I don't think so. Oop. Oh no, actually I did a screenshot. Game bar? I thought I turned that shit off. Yes, yes, yes. You aware that I'm lying to you. Good old RPG Maker and the way it moves. But yeah. I feel like there's a bit more that can be worked on in regards to all of it. But if you make the language a little bit better and work on some of the eventing and continue expanding on the combat and so on, you can definitely improve and be much better than it currently is. At the moment, though, it's hard to say that it's deserving of a better score. So, unfortunately, 3 out of 5 is as best as I can give it. I wanted to see one thing. Nope, still does that. Come on. There he goes. No. So now we're gonna go after them. From the forest. Yes. Still definitely need to fix that to where the two move at the same time, so that way it just works better. There's lots of nothing in some of these rooms. Like this one, there is nothing. And then there's all this empty dead space in this one. How do you feel? No. Trying to... Still should not mark that as nursery. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That's right, gotta do the one quest first. I'm not gonna do another full playthrough because that just seems kind of silly. Young love out in the forest in the middle of the night. If only a bear would attack. I feel like that'd be fitting. Back to here, right here. Here. Do. About that must get away from my wife. Probably honestly would do more with this. Because honestly, if the route is kill everybody, it's not entirely interesting. Yeah, I killed. So I'm assuming there's we were lucky. I was impressed that Hitch wanted to see how the bear's up. Yeah, so it looks like this is panning out very similar to one of the first early runs. But yeah. Let's see. Where's the... There it is. Woo. Ah. Ah. Bah. Bah. Oh, boy. Now let's see, what else? Where is my list? Where is my list of games? I heard a ding, which means someone redeemed something. I don't know if I'm about to look up and be happy or look up and be annoyed. And Jade Arrow decides to betray me by making me do squats. How terrible of you. Why doth thou hate me so? There is my list. Give me a second and I'll do those squats. There it is. Alright, so Crimson Snow goes, and Trials of Kokoro takes its place. Oh boy. I feel like I definitely need more games on this list, but at the same time I feel like I have enough and I just need to get through more of them quickly. Okay. Feet apart right. Back straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Oh. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Oh. I think I ate too much dinner. Wait, did you play Lumigrove? No, it's under the under review section. Games are the under review section. Those are games that I have not fully looked into yet. Once I fully look into them, they then go up to the up next section. Well, fully look into is a loose way of putting it. It's more of like a good cursory glance to make sure it's appropriate for stream. And then it goes into the up next category. And then from the up next category, it will then go into the currently playing. Some things did get shifted around due to an on hold that was happening. But that hold has been lifted. So now we're picking up where we left off. Which means Trials of Kokoro. Whew. And then... Oh... Axial Disc 1 and 2 from Sawyer Friend. That one got moved back onto the list because at some point it accidentally got removed, which is my bad, Sawyer. But they're on there now. And then I do know Sawyer mentioned a super boss possibly happening for the RPG Maker theme event that's happening. So, I'm thinking, on my next day off, I'm going to do a very long stream of Silver Days and or Axial Disc 1 and 2. I'm thinking possibly Silver Days because that is his newer game. And I actually did reset my achievements for Silver Days. So right now it says like, oh, you've got like 22, 23 hours of the game and 0 achievements. It's like, what, you just sit in the fucking menu the whole time? So. Oh. And then Kingdom of Nyaber is likely to end Wednesday. Yeah, should possibly ending Wednesday because we got to the end boss on it. And unfortunately we weren't able to complete it due to a bug. Yay. And then... Honestly, yeah, because... Looking at the schedule for next week... Or for the rest of the month, my next day off is actually on the 16th. I get President's Day off. So, with that being said... Kingdom of Nyaber actually does end on the stream for the 11th. Then Axial Disc 1 and 2 can take that place. And then I could swap out the Breath of Fire stream on the 16th for an extra long Silver Days stream. Or I can take a different day off as well. So that way I can start at a relatively decent time in the late afternoon and then go really late with the stream. Your ISP crashed your net. Could have completed Nyaber. Yeah, well, no, it wasn't just my ISP crashing. The recording of the stream that I upload, that also has what was also happening. The last boss had a bug where it would start an attack and it would not stop attacking. I think it's supposed to be like a combo attack where it hits everyone like 1 to 2 times and then it resets. But instead of hitting everyone 1 to 2 times, it just kept hitting everyone and kept hitting everyone and kept hitting everyone. I think I let it get up to like a 200 hit combo. It was either a 100 or a 200 hit combo, and I was like, he's already done enough damage to kill like my entire party and the backup characters on the bench. So I was like, yeah, Dr. 4G needs to fix that. But yeah, looking at the calendar, maybe I'll do that on the 16th. Do an extra long Silver Days stream on the 16th to kind of actually do an actual stream of that. Because the last time I streamed it, it was just the demo, which was pretty much like all of Chapter 1, I believe. But it was really good, and I really liked it, to the point that the moment that I got my early access copy from the Kickstarter, I binge played the game off stream, and I beat it very quickly, and it was really fun. So I owe it to Sawyer to actually stream me playing Silver Days. Sir, another bug has hit the streamer. Man, freaking every time. I did joke with Dragon, Dr. 4G, because it's something my girlfriend had mentioned, that every time I find a bug in one of your guys' games, I should charge you $1. If I did that at this point, I would have probably made, I don't know, like 20 bucks off of Dr. 4G, probably another 10 off of Kavushka, and I don't know how many off of everyone else. So I'm just standing there screaming, Dev! Dev! Fix it! Let's see. So, Valentine's Day is the 14th. I have the vet visit on the 11th, where I gotta take the cat to the vet to get her feline leukemia shot. 14th is Valentine's Day, 16th is President's Day. I don't work the 16th. Trying to think of any other days that I technically have off. Because I'll be honest, I'm definitely not going to be streaming on Valentine's Day because, one, it's Saturday, and two, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend would kill me if I decided to not hang out with her and instead stream on Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure she would take very much umbrage with that. There is no bugs in bossing, say. There's always bugs in your game. Even the best coded game has bugs. Let's see, I've got about like 35, 36-ish hours of PTO saved up at the moment. I could take the 17th off. If I took the 17th off, then I could really stay up late on the 16th. And then just spend the whole 17th recovering. Yeah, I think I like that idea. I think I'm going to do that. But, first things first. Ooh, excuse me, cat. Why'd you get in my chair? Don't you know you're not supposed to be in my chair? The chair is not for the cat. The chair is for me. Oh, I didn't add it to my library. I need to fix that. I just realized that I had put Charles Kokoro in my cart, but I never actually purchased it. No. Gimme. Here we go. Oh. I need a card that best describes Valen. You rise to play and go to bed to work. Iago from Othello, the Seven of Spades. I think Iago is saying something about you, Valen. The cards have spoken. You can't be mad at me. Alright, I want to point that out. The cards spoke, not me. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, I hit the hotkey, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Alright, so I'm gonna honestly go to bed because I'm tired as hell. I'll figure this shit out. But I got Trials of Kokoro now. It's installed. Ow! Why are you throwing stuff at me? Stop being mean, man. Like, chill. Why are you throwing stuff at me too? Oh wait, no. You're not throwing stuff at me too. For some reason, I looked over and saw Maximum Sharpie, followed by, you know, the sound of things being thrown at me. Ah. You know, that's deserved. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. That's